So today we're analyzing who's ranking number one for the keyword divorce lawyer in New York City and why. And also, what would it take for you to beat them? I hope this will be valuable to you. Let's get straight to it. So the number one law firm in New York City in terms of Google rankings is this guy here, David Centeno Law, New York divorce lawyer. So they are number one because they are ranking in the first organic position in the map pack. Because if I type in divorce lawyer New York City, this search phrase gets 2,000 searches every month. And this is just this one search phrase. A lot of people just type in NYC divorce lawyer. So they put NYC to the front. Then they also type in divorce lawyer near me. And if they are in New York, then the same results are going to appear because Google understands that if you're searching from New York City and if you type in near me, and even if you just type in divorce lawyer and you are in New York, Google knows that this is a locational search and they will display the businesses that are the nearest to you. So in that sense, there are actually thousands of visitors. And based on this, I would estimate 5 to 10,000 people every month are searching for divorce law services in New York City, which is a huge, huge amount of volume. And this is also where I get if I always look at like, what would it be worth for you to rank number one? And in New York City, I would estimate that if you were to rank number one, you would capture around 3,000 of those. This is just a general estimation based on all the data that I have. And if on average, like if the customer value for family lawyers is around 10K, this is the average in the United States, because New York is such a high income city, because I'm analyzing New York City specifically and not the suburbs, I've allocated a customer value of 15K, and with 3,000 searches and with the average conversion rate, the customer lifetime value you could generate from ranking number one every month is around over 1 million. And the annual value is over 13 million. So this is a huge, huge number. Of course, this is revenue, but still, by ranking number one, you would be able to generate a lot of revenue. I would assume that if any company were to rank, like if you weren't ranking right now and then you suddenly got to number one, this would probably be more revenue that you could manage. But still, then you would just be able to be pickier about the clients that you would take on. So this is still super lucrative. And also, you don't want to leave these rankings to your competitors either, because otherwise they are going to get all of this volume. They will get all of this recognition, which will give them money. We should bankroll them to invest into other marketing channels to beat you in those areas as well. So you don't want to leave that money on the table. And based on my analysis right now, based on the top ranker, it isn't actually that difficult to rank number one because they are scoring a total score of 35 out of 45. So I would have assumed New York City to be more competitive. But let's show you how I came up with this score. And by the way, this score is a medium in my book. So it's not that difficult, but I would assign a medium difficulty. Now let's get to how I came up with this score and how they got 35. So first of all, if I Google for divorce lawyer in New York City, this is the keyword with the most search volume for New York City. Sometimes it's like family lawyer, different cities, people use different keywords, but in New York City, this is the keyword. And here, these are the sponsored results. Most people do not click on the sponsored results because they just simply don't trust it. They like Google to give them listing and they trust what Google tells that is the best possible result. And right now, David Centeno Law is the number one ranker. Of course, these guys here will also get a lot of clicks as well, but this is getting the most amount of clicks by far. And being in the map pack is the most important place to be with SEO. And the first thing I notice here is that their score is a 4.8 and they're getting 257 reviews. They have 257 reviews in aggregate. So in terms of review count, I would give them a 4 out of 5 because in some other cities and with more competitive law niches like personal injury, some companies have thousands of reviews, but in this case, they have around 250. So if your review count is in the hundreds, I would only give you a 4 out of 5. If it's in the thousands, then you would get a 5. And the average review score, I would say to get a 5 out of 5, which is the max score, you don't need to be 5.0 because as I've said before, 5.0, it's some people would like start to question your rankings or your score because it's more natural to have like a 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9 than a 5.0 because it's obvious that some people are going to leave bad reviews for you regardless of how well you service them. Like in this example, Krasner Law, the third ranker has a score of 5.0. So people might think that these reviews are bought or something or manipulated. So 4.8 is quite natural. But anyways, you get a 5 out of 5 in that sense as well. But now Google Business Profile Optimization, this is one of the most important factors in terms of Google Map rankings. And one thing that sets them aside. So in every city, I try to bring out the most important factors that the top ranker has. And for David Centeno Law, they have two things that are working really well for them. The first thing is that they have the exact match keyword in their business name. And the exact keyword, as I showed you, like divorce lawyer in NYC, this is super similar, New York divorce lawyer. They have it in their business name, while the others don't. Like Yaniv and Associates, they don't have anything about divorce law in their business name. And Krasner Law has divorce attorney here, but they don't have New York. So David Centeno has the best possible optimization in that regard. And yes, this is a super important ranking factor. So if I open up the profile here, you can see that the name is David Centeno Law, New York divorce lawyer. This unfortunately gives them a huge advantage in rankings. Having a close variation of your main keyword in your Google business profile gives you a huge advantage. And you can get that, as I've said before, by submitting a doing business as a DBA to your local municipality to get this to your business profile name. And this is if ranking here is important to you, which it should be, given how much potential revenue you could earn and how many more additional customers you could generate from ranking at the top. This is definitely worth doing, and it's not that difficult to actually do. We also help our clients do that as well if needed. So again, this is giving them a huge advantage. Some other things, like they only have quite a few pictures, and also if you look at this picture here, you don't really understand what's going on. So to my eyes, it would instill distrust, because I would love to see the exterior of their offices, maybe the interior, some people that work in the company and so on. So yeah, this isn't optimal. Like they don't have as many pictures from prominent places and important places of their business. And also some other factors that they are not doing so well on is that they have a lot of reviews, but they do not respond to the reviews. Like most of the reviews are unresponded. So this is also a weakness of theirs. But overall, they have submitted their business profile information quite well. They have a lot of information here. They have the address, they have the services here, they have the right category. So if you want to rank for divorce law keywords, having the divorce lawyer as your main category is super important. Like as you can see here, all the top rankers have divorce lawyer as their main category. So yeah, this is well done. But still, there are some optimizations that are falling short on, like responding to reviews and images, and also they haven't filled out the entirety of their profile. So there's some work still to be done here. But again, them having the main tier in the title is giving them a huge advantage. So that's why I've given them a 4 out of 5 in terms of Google Business Profile optimization. Citations, I checked and they have around 3,400 citations. This is the ballpark number, but this is usually good enough to rank. You don't need to have all the possible citations in the world. But if you already have in the thousands, it's good enough. And also what I check is how many citations do you have compared to your top ranking competitors. And all the other competitors also have around a few thousand citations. Like the second result had 3,000 citations as well. So it's a 5 out of 5 in that sense. But of course, like if you were to compete, if you want to outrank them, I would suggest you build at least as many as they have and then some as well. So the next important thing is titles and URLs. And I have given them a 5 out of 5 because if you look at their site, they have the most important keyword in the main titles. Like you see here, this is H1, the main title. Maybe they have even done some over-optimization in terms of including keywords. So SEO often clashes with user experience or how nice the website looks. They have steered on the side of SEO optimization. So SEO has definitely taken prominence. A lot of our clients, they want to have a cool mix of SEO optimization and how nice the site looks. These guys here, they haven't cared about it as much. But of course, it's not too bad done. And also this is getting them the number one result. So well done with them. And also if I check the detailed SEO extension, it also shows me that their meta title includes New York divorce lawyer, also their meta description, and many of their headings, like you see here, New York divorce lawyer, anyways. A little bit over-optimized even in my book, but still, this is getting the job done, so well done on that front. That's why their titles and URLs gets a 5 out of 5. But then again, their on-page, now we're getting to their weaknesses. Their on-page isn't as optimal, because as you can see here, they're scoring a 46 out of 100. And one of their competitors is getting an even higher score. But then again, that competitor here, yes, they have a super high on-page score, but they are lacking on other factors. But still, like if you are working on your SEO, it's not that difficult to get this to 70s or 80s, which is where we will always try to get our clients to. Because like the higher this scores, the less of other factors you need to implement, you invest money into. So this is definitely a weakness. Another thing is their domain strength, because PR is just a 20 out of 100. As you can see here, the full circle would stand for 100 out of 100, but they're getting a 20 out of 100. So we always try to get our clients into the 30s, 40s, if not 50s. Because the higher DR, the authority of the site, according to my opinion, and many other SEO experts agree. Since Google stopped publishing their domain rating numbers, these third parties have taken over. And yeah, this is a pretty good implication of how authoritative your site is. And by the way, the more authoritative your site is, the easier it is for you to rank for all of your different keywords. Service page like New York divorce lawyer and also your blog article. So 20 is not that hard to beat. And that's why I've given them a 2 out of 5 in that sense. Now backlinks, this is getting a 3 out of 5 because they are ranking with their homepage. If you click here, this will lead to their homepage. And because they're using their homepage is always the strongest page of any site. So that's why they get a 3 out of 5. But then again, because it wasn't as high, it's quite far from getting a 5 out of 5. So this is also a weakness. If you just build more backlinks, you would be able to beat them. And the final thing here is topical authority. This is super important. And what this means is how many articles you have written to your blog or how many pages you have on your site that cover every possible question that your potential target audience might have around divorce law or family law. And it's not just topical authority, it's also locational topical authority, meaning that like have you targeted those pages to talk about how this is specifically in New York City in this case. So these guys here, the top rankers, they're doing a good job because they have 151 pages, which is really well done. It isn't actually a 5 out of 5 because like we've seen some businesses have thousands of blog articles. So you could definitely do more, but still this is a pretty good number. So before I told you that they have 2 things that they're doing really well that's helping them get the first position. The first thing was having their main keyword in their business profile. Second thing is having a lot of topical authority. And what I mean by locational topic authority is that they're answering a lot of people's questions about divorce from the angle of how it is in New York. So just for example, this article here, how much does a New York prenup cost? This is a perfect example of getting locational topic authority. So they're answering people's question about how much does a prenup cost. A lot of people are asking this, how much does a prenup lawyer cost? It's just a keyword that they're ranking for with this article. But this is also tailored to New York because, of course, like you would probably pay a different amount for doing a prenup in New York versus doing it in Ohio, for example. Another example, New York uncontested divorce with children. And then if you have these kinds of articles, if you're doing this for yourself, you always have to link from those pages to your main page. Your homepage in their example that is targeting New York divorce law keyword. So really well done in that sense. But also if I show you the map rankings here, this shows different locations in New York City and where are they showing up for New York City divorce lawyer keywords. So they're ranking number one in most of the Manhattan area that I have covered here. And yes, they're losing some rankings here in the Chinatown area and in the lower half, but still the rankings are huge, they're massive. So this is the power of focusing on it. And this is where the money is, this is where the potential revenue is going to come from, just ranking number one in the map pack, which is where most people are going to find their results from. So now if you wanted to beat them, one thing, like one easy low-hanging fruit example that I found in New York City is that because New York has so many high net worth individuals, there are also a good amount of searches for high net worth divorce lawyer New York. And by the way, most people do not add New York as a modifier here. So most people are just going to Google high net worth divorce or high asset divorce or these kinds of keywords. And if there are situations in New York, they will find your site if you are in New York. So these kinds of keywords, the competition is far below what I showed you with the main keyword divorce in New York. So if you want to target high net worth divorces, like you see here, this website ranking in the second position has a DR of only a 7, and they only have one backlink. So this is super weak. And they're getting a lot of these kinds of clients searching for the keyword and finding their business. And also the first ranker here as well. They're ranking based on their high domain rating, but the page isn't optimized, as you can see from the URL. Like they have this messy ending in the URL. So this is again a weakness, and it could be done much better. Also, they only have a few backlinks. Like if this is an important keyword for you, which it should be if you are in New York, of course, you are interested in high net worth divorces or high net worth family law services, building a dedicated page and adding backlinks to it would get you to number one in not that much time. So this is a good example of something to do because they haven't really targeted the high net worth keywords. And if you want to beat them, not just for high keywords, but for everything else as well, what you need to do is at least match them in the most important areas, if not beat them. Like you could beat them with reviews, you could beat them with better Google Business Profile optimization, and also try to get your main keyword to your Google business name. It is that important. And then also just take care of these. As you can see, a lot of businesses are lacking on these fronts. And also with topical authority, just answer the questions that people keep asking you. If you know how to do keyword research, then you should also, like I highly encourage you to do the keywords, not just find out what are the questions people are asking, but which questions are asked the most so that you could start writing blog articles that will get found month after month, not just when you share them on social media. And yeah, once again, like if you go through this effort, the odds of ranking in the first position are like financially can be highly rewarding. This could be a huge opportunity for a family law firm that is interested in competing in New York City. So if you're interested in our help in helping you rank number one in New York City, you can find my contacts down below. Or if you're not in New York City, you are ranking in another city in the United States, and you'd like us to do a similar analysis of your city, just drop a comment down below with your city and I will get to that next. So thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, and before you go, if you are a family law firm and you want to get more high value cases, we're currently offering 30 days of free SEO execution, totally free, no contracts, no strings. We take the risk, not you. But because this is high risk to us, we need to analyze your website first to see if we believe SEO is worth doing in your specific location. So click the link below to get a free video audit of your site first and see if your city is still available.